like genocide and war crimes, systematic rape, torture, and murder by corrupt government officials in places like Bangladesh and Burundi and Darfur. Right? So he equates our American police and our American prosecutors with those kinds of corrupt, evil officials in those broken countries. That's the low esteem with which he holds our police and prosecutors in our criminal justice system. Well, got some good news. We are about 11 months away from an election, and we are going to retire Keith Ellison from politics for good. So just real briefly, my background, my wife Jenny and I, we live in Prior Lake. We've got 3 young kids, ages 9, 11, and 5, and they're the real reason I'm running. I want them to have a Minnesota that they can be proud of. I want them to be able to build productive lives here in our state. I don't want to have them move to some other state to do that. You know? And so that's why I'm running. And we are going to win this office back for the first time in generations. We're going to win this not for the cause of the Republican Party, not for the cause of any party, but rather for the cause of liberty, the rule of law, the Constitution, for freedom. And that's why we're running. That's why we're going to win. My background, I spent a lot of time, I was a clerk at the Minnesota Supreme Court, went to Georgetown undergrad and law school. I practiced law with Andy Parker over here. Fantastic, one of the best attorneys there is. And I also was at SCAD and some other firms. I worked for a number of years with Alliance Defending Freedom, which is a Christian nonprofit law firm fighting for free speech and religious freedom in cases all across the country. So I'm a constitutional lawyer, and I know how to fight in court. I know how to fight in the court of public opinions, and we are going to bring this battle to Keith Ellison, and we will win this thing. And then when I'm Attorney General, we're going to do things very, very differently. Number one, we will restore law and order. We do that. We do that by doing that. We rebuild the criminal division of the office, hire veteran prosecutors into the office, or 20 or so of them, and send those veteran prosecutors out to take over cases from the county attorneys, put criminals behind bars, and stop the cycle of arrest and release. And that's the best way to support law enforcement. Because law enforcement, they are tired of seeing the same people back on the street after they just arrested them days or weeks or maybe a few short months earlier. So we aggressively prosecute criminals, make sure lawbreaking has consequences, and that helps boost the morale of police. Then we use the bully pulpit of the AG's office and send a clear message that the state of Minnesota and the Attorney General's office supports and honors and celebrates those who wear blue and risk their lives every day to protect us. That's critical. Just 200 quick things. Critical race theory. It's a terrible thing, right? It's evil. It's immoral. Yep. Teaching kids to judge people based on the color of their skin. It's Martin Luther King Jr. upside down. Guess what? When a school district does this and creates a hostile environment in the classroom, when they do these exercises, I've heard of one where they divide people up based on skin color, and they say, okay, you guys are the victims, you guys are the oppressors. Well, you know what? That creates a hostile environment in the classroom that discriminates on the basis of race. That is illegal under state anti-discrimination laws. It's also illegal under federal anti-discrimination laws. So we are going to investigate school districts that do this. And if they will counsel them to stop, if they won't stop, we will sue them, and we will end critical race theory in Minnesota. Election integrity is so important. We just need to make sure that all the legal votes count, right? All the legal votes need to count. And we don't need them diluted by any illegal votes. And so what we will do is investigate and prosecute voter fraud. We're going to send the message that if you commit voter fraud in Minnesota, you'll go to jail. Yeah. By doing that, we'll have clean elections and restore confidence in our election system. So things are looking very good. I asked for your support. We had a great result at State Central on Saturday. There was a straw poll. We won the straw poll with 61% support of the delegates. The next closest competitor had 20%. So a 41-point margin of victory. So we are consolidating our support. I ask you to join me. Make sure you go to DougWardlowAG.com, sign up to volunteer and to donate. We are going to beat Keith Ellison. We're going to win this election. We're going to make Minnesota free again, and we are going to make Minnesota safe again. So thank you all. God bless.
Don't I ever, Jesse, turn off the overhead sound and music?
No, we cannot do that.
Yes, we can.
I'm pretty sure we can't. But here's the deal. Somebody's going to go ask.
No.
We have something to do next year. We have to kick people to the curb. And once Keith Ellison is to the curb, there's another guy, apparently, who is in St. Paul, who needs some kicking. And Senator, I think that might be your cue.
Come on in. I'm a mom. I'm used to constant motion while I'm trying to do my job. I'm Michelle Benson. I'm here to fire Tim Walls.
Yes! Yes!
So I'm glad we've got some AG candidates here because there's something really disturbing going on in our state. Well, it might not be about the governor's race. It makes me furious that a restaurant owner who, yes, violated the governor's emergency powers is being prosecuted while there are carjackings going on all over.
That's right.
Yes.
You got that right.
What the ever-loving hell is going on? I'm sorry, and I don't swear, but it is okay to be angry when somebody who didn't kill anybody, just violated an executive order, is treated worse than someone who takes a gun to take your car. There are gang wars. And you guys know better than I do. You live here. There are gang wars in Minneapolis.
That's right.
And nobody's doing anything about it.
Afraid to drive
If
it?
people aren't safe, how are they supposed to live to their potential? How are they supposed to have dreams? How are kids supposed to go to school? Louder. Okay. I thought I was yelling. I'll get louder. How are kids supposed to go to school when they're worried about getting shot?
That's right. It's terrible.
Okay, so people need to be safe. So support public safety. What can a governor do? First of all, you link funding or defunding the police to local government aid. Secondly, you give prosecutors the tools they need to put criminals in jail and keep them there. Did you see the revised sentencing guidelines that this administration's putting out? It's not about keeping bad guys in jail. It's about coddling criminals. And the third thing you do, you appoint judges who follow the law and not make it up as they go. And then our people are safe, no matter where you live in this state. You should feel safe in your community. You have a right to defend yourself, but the police should come when you call. And right now, we have communities that are waiting 30 minutes, sometimes longer, for a 911 call. We've got to turn around public safety. Second, education. Tim Walsh shut our kids out of their schools because the teachers' unions told him to. And you know what that did to our kids? It put them a year behind in math and in reading. There will be a gap in their lives until they're adults that they're going to be trying to fill because Tim Walsh wouldn't let them in schools. So we need to take the power away from the unions and give it to parents. Parents need to be in charge of our schools. It's time for ABCs, not CRT. Let's focus on literacy and reading and high standards instead of indoctrination. That's right, ABCs, not CRT. Take that one home with you. And then money follows the child. So if your school isn't meeting your child's needs, you take that money and you go meet your child's needs. Because you know what happens? Then parents and teachers become partners and it becomes about the kids and not the system. Minnesota has some of the lowest reading scores in the nation for minority population. We are in the bottom 5 for minority reading scores, but in the top 5 of taxes. You know what that tells you? It's a system problem and a standards problem, not a money problem. So let's raise the standards so that every child can achieve their God-given potential. And then, when people are safe, when our kids are educated, we can go all over this state, whether it's mines, forests, fields, whether it's the innovation. Here it's restaurants like this. People have dreams. They can build them here. We're going to cut the size and scope of government. I am the only candidate in this race who has actually developed and delivered a cut budget. The only one. You want to know how to cut government? You have to have been there. You have to have done it. Because you can't show up on day one and hope there's a manual. Because Tim Walsh wrote the manual. Throw it aside. You have to write your own. We're going to cut the size of government. We have a $7.7 billion surplus. It is time to give that back.
That's right.
Seriously, cut income taxes. You know what they're going to do with it? They're going to build more nonprofits and do more handouts and build the Democrat bureaucracy that has run this state.
It's enough already.
It is
That's
time to
ridiculous.
shrink government.
That's right.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to all build bigger dreams. And Minnesota is going to be a great state to live in, so we stop chasing people to Arizona and Texas and Florida and Tennessee and South Dakota and Wisconsin. People are choosing Wisconsin. It's not that hard to beat Wisconsin. So let's change our government, change our state. Let's keep our people here. Let's keep our talent here. I'm Michelle Benson. First, we fired Tim Walz.
Yes.
Yes. And then we create a more free and more prosperous Minnesota. It would be my honor to serve as your governor, and I thank you all very much. And thank you to the veterans very much. My husband was in the Navy for, 4 years at the Academy and 5 years in subs, and so I can't thank you enough for your tours.
George, aircraft carrier, did not do
What, hey?
Went to the academy like
Yeah.
We have several.
It's open yet.